Out of Gotham, a crazy podcast about DC, with your host E-Rock and PD. When we speak up, get your geeks up, cause you know you about to get geeked up. So sit back, relax, and get comfy. Lose your mind like Solomon Grundy, and listen to a show that won't be forgotten, coming straight out of Gotham.
And hello, everyone out in Gotham City. Welcome to another episode of Straight Outta Gotham, episode 133. Is that correct, Halsey? Halsey-Mon? 133? There we are, 133. We're creeping up on 150. Getting ready to pop some champagne like my name's Corey Seager. Where are we at here? We are Straight Outta Gotham. We are a proud member of the Batman Podcast Network, hosted by BatmanOnFilm.com. If you want to check out all the other great shows on the network, head on over to BatmanOnFilm.com, clicking the podcast drop down and checking out what everyone has to offer. And that includes Ryan Lauer's The Batman Book Club. And I'm on to you, Ryan Lauer. I can see you. I know what you're doing. Anyway, I'm a senior contributor at Batman on Film. I'm Peter Rivera. And today we are recording on November. October's over. I feel like I didn't really celebrate October this well this year. November 4th. And before we get into the good stuff, I'd like to remind you all, our faithful listeners, if you take time to rate and review this show on Apple Podcasts and read your review on air, you just won our Straight Outta Gotham prize pack. So please get into that contest. Now, let me introduce you to my partner in crime. Ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend, the one who put Schlong into Long Island, Eric Holzman.
Hello.
How are you, Holzman?
I'm good. Yeah, it's been a couple weeks, but I'm good.
You've been playing with Aaron Rodgers' knee. That's why you've been.
It's Achilles?
Yeah, whatever it is. You've been doing your thing, massaging it, getting it ready. I think you told me you like to drink ayahuasca and rub coconut oil on his knee, make it feel better. So he's a strange guy. He's got strange tactics, but he'll be back, and Jets are going to be in a Super Bowl. You are going to be riding down the champion of heroes on the parade.
You mean the Canyon of Heroes?
Yeah, well, you'll be the Canyon of Heroes. You're the champion of Long Island. It all fits together. Like you're definitely going to be on that float, right? The Jets are more of a Long Island team.
They are definitely a Long Island Queens team, probably more than anywhere else. But that's because they used to play in Queens, so it makes kind of makes sense.
Now they play in New Jersey.
Yes, with everybody. Everyone plays in New Jersey.
No, that's not true. Just three teams.
It's New York's playground.
I mean, yeah, it's great. Come down to AC. It's great. You guys want to play around? Like, if you want to come down to Jersey and party, AC's the place to be.
Maybe Atlantic City needs a sports team. Like Vegas has a sports team. Maybe we need to get one in Atlantic City now and see what
I don't know how Philadelphia would react. I don't know how Philadelphia would react to that, but I honestly think it's not a bad idea.
Right?
Like, I feel like Atlantic City could have like an NBA team. As crazy as that sounds.
Yeah, I think it would do a lot for the area. Even though I hear it's having a renaissance from what people tell me. I haven't been.
I was there last summer. It was kind of fun. Like there was concerts and things, and the mall. They need to get more shops in that mall next to the hotels, but I was down there not too long ago. It was a good time.
All right. Yeah, I haven't been in a while. I'm due for a trip back there, so have to see what's going on there. But yes, welcome everyone to another exciting episode of Straight Outta Gotham. We are
the Eric Holzman Chronicles.
We have a very good show planned. Jam-packed with a lot of information this week. Really quickly though, let's kind of talk about the Marvels, because I know, Pete, you are a super fan of this movie coming out.
I've heard nothing but bad things.
That's the funny thing. I just wanted to quickly talk about it because it's I saw the trending.
It's like Aquaman.
No, it's the box office is trending even lower than that.
Really?
Yeah, which is kind of strange coming off a $1 billion movie the first time, and I thought that of all the recent Disney shows, I thought that Ms. Marvel was one of the better ones. So I figured there might be more of a support behind that. And of course, WandaVision is still considered by many people to be the best offering.
I feel like that was so long ago.
I know. That's the thing. I think that's one of the things that's hurting this is that it was such a long time ago for Captain Marvel, and then everything that happened, and then we've had all these other films before this one because they had to get Miss Marvel and they had to get, you know.
I feel like the pandemic years, like, because I kind of feel like it's past us now. Like, I hope. Like, I don't know what people think. So, if you don't think that, like, okay, sorry, whatever. But like, I feel like those like 2 years, 2.5 years, feel so far ago, right? Like, just it just seems like such a long time since I was like stuck at home and couldn't do anything.
I think that's just human nature. We like to bury things like that. So anything that's unpleasant, we like to bury it deep within our psyche. Be like, yeah, you know, uh, we don't really want to remember that, so we just kind of store it away somewhere in this file compartment, way back, way in the
Yeah, so
back.
I think like Wonder Woman 84, the Marvel, Suicide Squad, like everything that came out within those years, I'm kind of like I just like kind of pushed away.
It is kind of it was great when we got them because at the time we didn't have anything new coming out. So it was like, yes, we're waiting, and these things are here finally, and we're coming back.
Yeah,
But the aftermath of it, we're kind of like, yeah, we don't want to remember that time period. It was part of that bad period of life where we just want to forget it.
yeah.
So I do agree with you. I think that's part of the problem with this specific film because, and not only that, I mean, we're going to get into this a little bit further. Maybe we'll just start there because it's probably the biggest story that we have um on the rundown.
Eric's engaged.
No, none of that.
No.
Um,
I'm playing the field, bro.
no, just the state of where Marvel is right now. And
The Tatiana Siegel article.
yes,
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. We've all, even our own little bubble, we've kind of said this. Like there have been numerous people within the circle. Let's just call it that have not been happy with this latest phase of the MCU. I mean, you read it on the Elon Musk program all the time. It seems that this phase was very, very more missed than hit. Like I feel like No Way Home, Multiverse of Madness stands out, and I feel like a lot of people were underwhelmed with the Disney Plus shows.
yeah,
I think
that's fair.
Moon Knight, She Hulk. I'm gonna throw Ms. Marvel in there. We enjoyed Ms. Marvel, me especially. But like they just didn't move anybody. I think
Right.
Falcon and Winter Soldier too. Like there's outside WandaVision created buzz, Secret Wars had buzz and fell flat, but that's about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean Hawkeye was good.
I
But
think
again,
Hawkeye coming out during Christmas hurt it because it was a streamer and not like a big like a
right,
motion picture. Like I think
right.
movies do well, but I think the streamer just I don't know. Like I feel like Hawkeye went unwatched.
Yeah, and it's sad because I thought it was one of the better ones, the better shows that they did.
Loki's popular though,
And we're going to talk a little bit about the spinoff that's coming from Hawkeye, which is Echo. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah,
and less people tuned in this season to Loki than last. That was just reported.
yeah, that's true. I mean, and it's a pretty good season. I finally caught up.
I gotta
Again,
start it. I'm gonna start it this weekend. I've got a big weekend. I've got to binge Harley Quinn, Invincible, and Loki all in 2 days.
yeah, I haven't started Invincible yet either.
So that's my game plan this weekend.
So, oh no, season 2. You're talking about season 1. Sorry.
No, I'm talking about Invincible season 2, the new
Okay.
season. It
Okay.
came out like a week ago or something. I just haven't caught up with it.
All right.
So that's out. If you didn't know, by the way, go watch that, guys.
Yeah. See, that's another thing. I I have a lot going on in my life right now, but I completely forgot it even came out.
Yeah, it's
So-
recent, so you're not that far behind.
All right. So yeah, but the article, Tatiana Siegel's article goes really, it's a deep dive into everything going on. She talks to industry insiders. I didn't know there were tons of reshoots on the Marvels, but apparently there was.
And the director wasn't there. What was she not around for some of them? She was shooting another movie, like
Right, in post. Yeah, she kind of left to do to start working on another movie, which apparently isn't that uncommon. which I didn't know, but apparently it's not.
Well, you have second unit directors and stuff like that who usually can fill in for something. Like I didn't think it was that big of a deal. If anything, I was like, this seems like a more Marvel thing to do than not. To be honest with you,
Right. Apparently, Feige's very much involved in the post production and this part of the process. So they might just be like, "Yeah, here's my movie, and you're gonna
which I
do."
thought was interesting. I thought Feige was more active in the beginning than the end, but
I know.
apparently Feige really gets involved at the end of the movie, which I thought was interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah, that was another thing I didn't know either. I was with you. I thought everything was kind of up front, and he had more to do with the beginning because that's kind of what we've been led to believe.
I
Because
mean, we
we've heard
always
from
knew he was very involved. We
right,
just didn't really know what aspect. I thought he set up shop really. I mean, he still might.
right. So yeah, um, when anything has such a great long run of something, eventually it's going to take a dip, and it has. I mean, it's not we're not being hyperbolic saying that the movies haven't performed as well, the shows haven't done as well, haven't drawn as many people in. So much so that they changed the way they're doing their shows now, right? Like they changed. We
They
talked
did
about
them like
this.
the movies post
Yeah,
production. Yeah.
yeah. Now they're switching into more of a TV model, a serialized TV model where the it's just a different animal, and they've realized what they were trying to do with making these shows like films wasn't working because people
Which
weren't the
kind of
quality was
makes sense
suffering.
because you're essentially taking like just layman's terms, it's like you're taking a bunch of carpenters and you're trying to do electricians work. And it's like you
Right,
don't know what you're doing, so you're gonna have to, like you're taking film people trying to do TV, and it doesn't. You think it should work, but it doesn't mix. So it's just you need some TV people, and they're like, no, we can't do it this way, but we can do it this way. Like it's one of those things.
right. And I didn't know She-Hulk cost 250 million to make.
I'm
Some
assuming that's because She Hulk is just on screen a lot.
right.
That's in that
Um,
finale. There's a lot of CGI. There's a lot of CGI in that show.
there's a
That's why
lot of
I
CGI
said
in that
get one of
show.
those jacked chicks from the Amazons and Justice League in the green.
That might have been a way to go about it.
I told
That might
I
have
was all for the Ferrigno model, to be honest with you, for She-Hulk. They didn't do that. And I like the show. Like
yeah.
I'm not Reno. I'm not complaining about She-Hulk.
No, yeah, you were definitely one of the stronger proponents of it. I'll say that. Of all the
Yeah.
people who watched it, you definitely were one of the ones who enjoyed it more than most. I thought it was okay. I didn't love it, didn't hate it. It was just kind of okay. But yeah, so there's been the article. She really did a good job. She really goes in deep about a lot of the things that we've heard. She kind of clears some of that up. The biggest one probably right now is what to do with Jonathan Majors Kang.
To
If
be
you're
honest, there's three big things in there that I would say is the biggest part of the article. It's the Kang stuff that you just mentioned. It's the
Mhm.
stuff going on with Blade, and it's bringing back Robert Downey Jr. in the old cast. Like
Yeah,
I
that
don't know which one of those is a bigger nugget in this article. That's like this article is really dense.
yes, it stands. It covers a lot of ground. And that last thing you mentioned about bringing back the old cast, that's something that they say is on the table. Something that they're possibly talking about
How
because
many times
if
have I told you, Eric, they should have never gotten rid of these guys? The Captain America, Iron Man, they were too big. These guys never failed on screen and you took them out of the game. That's your mistake.
yeah, I mean they're saying it would be another Avengers movie, which I guess they could kind of do with um Secret Wars. They could kind of do it with that if they wanted to. So maybe that's kind of what they're talking about, pivoting with the Kang stuff, kind of pivoting that way. I don't know. I
I
don't
just don't
know.
get why you can't recast the role. Like, who cares? He's an actor. Replace him. I don't understand why this is such an issue these days.
I agree with you. I
And
just
it
think
seems like the fans are more for it than the studio. Just do it.
I agree with you. I mean, they did it before, right? They changed Rhodey.
Yeah,
Um,
I think there was another guy in Thor that got changed. So it's not something that happens often. Usually, because I think these actors are like, oh, if I keep my mouth shut and I just play their game, I'm going to pop up every once in a while and I'll have It's like if you're an actor who works freelance, it's probably the most steady gig you could have being
I
in the
know.
MCU, right?
Yeah, that's true. I'll say the only thing I'll say, and the only reluctance they might be having, is because he's such a talented actor, and he really did slay the role in Quantumania. And I think that's to me. I told you I did not like that movie, but I loved his performance. So for
I just think
me,
it's interesting. I feel like if he did anything else in any other job anywhere else in the world, he would have lost his job by now.
oh, he would have. I mean, we could talk about we could bring this back to Ezra Miller, right? We could say the same stuff.
I agree.
We could bring it back to him. So you're
I
right.
personally just don't care either way, but it's like if it's going to make you change everything, just recast. I'm not
Yeah.
going to be affected by whether Jonathan Majors is in this movie or not.
And of all the characters that they could do it with, it's kind of a perfect one because he could take whatever form, right? So you could do
I'm
that.
not so well versed on Kang as a character. He's a little bit beyond my Marvel knowledge, but like if that's one of his abilities, then like I don't see an issue here at all.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think it's something that they could do. I think it's something that they should do. I don't think they should.
The article mentions dumping Kang for Doctor Doom, and like I'm all for that. Like, don't get me wrong, but like if it's going to be rushed and not thought out properly, then I don't want you to do that. I'd rather you just move along with Kang, and then build Doctor Doom up however you originally planned.
And this movie was originally slated to come out, I believe, 2027. So it's 4 years. You figure production would start end of 25. So they have time.
Is Loki done yet this season? Like,
next Thursday?
Okay, because apparently that's like a big part.
I mean, he's in this series. Like Loki,
yeah, but like
Jonathan Majors is in.
That's like the big setup. That episode's apparently the big setup for his grand Avengers appearance. Like, which is weird because like he's an Ant-Man, he's been in Loki. Now it's like he's gonna have a trilogy before he has his own real villain movie. I don't know. It's just funny to me. But yeah, that's it. That's the next big thing is that episode of Loki. That's what's going to set up everything.
Yeah, I mean they're trying to do with the Disney Plus shows and him the thing that they how they did with the movies with Thanos. They kind of dropped him in here and there in post credits, and then he was in Guardians. Obviously, the first one he had a minor part in that, and you got to see him here and there. I guess they're trying to do that with Kang to set up for the Kang Dynasty, Avengers Kang Dynasty whenever that's supposed. Like I said, 2027, I think. So I don't know that the article again is very well done. It lays all of this out. It's just very thought provoking, and kind of does make you wonder if they should have stopped after Endgame and given it a couple years. Just give everything a couple years to lay low and then reboot it. Either using Iron Man or again, or starting with the characters they started with now, but just a different.
I mean,
just
let's
give
be
people
honest.
time.
After Endgame, they could reboot, and if we are where we are now, you could have started with X-Men.
Yep, you're right.
You could have restarted with X-Men and built a
Fantastic Four. You could have done Fantastic Four.
Instead of incorporating them into this new universe. I mean, I've said it. I'm on record saying it numerous times. They should have rebooted everything after Endgame. Could just, and now you're finding it that maybe it was that one story, that Infinity story that kind of held people together. Maybe you can't recapture that with this Kang Dynasty.
You're right.
You haven't been able to do it with this multiverse saga. Maybe it's just not meant to be. Maybe you just have one great run and that's it.
Yeah. And it was a great run, like you said. It was.
Because you've literally turned every studio in Hollywood into your carbon copy. Everyone tries to do what you have done. The shared universe, large franchise, intersecting characters. The entire industry, it's literally become the NFL. Remember when the NFL, when everyone did Tampa 2?
Yeah.
That was the big defense. That's literally what's going on in Hollywood right now.
It's a copycat league, yeah.
Everyone's doing it, man. Everyone's doing it. So
it's true. I mean, we had the failed Monsters universe that they tried to do.
A movie.
Right. They're trying to do now, even with Transformers, they're trying to merge with G.I. Joe. If you saw
King Kong and Godzilla.
Right, King Kong, Godzilla. Yeah, there's plenty of
DCEU.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely did change the game. They did. They changed the game.
They made everyone copy, and DC's trying it again.
Right.
They're trying their part 2. So they changed Hollywood. You can't see that the impact is huge.
Right. But I do think now
it just
and we're seeing it now, right? We're seeing it with the interest from fans and just the casual fan.
Yeah.
We saw it with the DC films this summer. Who knows what Aquaman's going to do? We don't know how that's going to turn out.
Aquaman and the Marvels sound awfully similar, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They do.
It just does.
The lead up
first movie, no buzz at all for the second.
It's true.
Horrible stories, reshoots, bullshit, blah blah blah. And I was like, man, these two movies sound awfully similar.
Yeah. Yeah. I sincerely hope they're both at least good. It doesn't have to be great. I don't think obviously neither one's making $1 billion. You can get that out of your head. But I hope they're good and watchable and entertaining, which is what everyone should hope when they go to the movies.
Here's the thing. I think Aquaman might be able to scratch the $1 billion mark if the other side of the world gets a chance to watch it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think I feel like the Asian market was huge with Aquaman.
Oh, it was. It powered that the American take from the box office wasn't that North American wasn't that great. It was
like
the
300
international.
something.
Yeah, no, it was good.
And international was like 700-800.
Yeah, that was fantastic. So yeah, I mean, well, you brought it up, so we could just go into it. James Wan even recently spoke about Aquaman 2, about how people were freaking out hearing about all these reshoots, and he said it was just about 7 or 8 days. And the reason why this is usually a problem is because it's hard to get all the actors back to do it. So, everyone shouldn't be freaking out over this. It's not something that is uncommon. But yeah, the article explains other things as well.
I feel like it's one of the last few COVID movies, right? So like, there's that. There was production that made that stall a little bit. I dig what he's saying, but I'm not also like feeling it at the same time, because it's like, yeah, we've heard all these horror stories, and like, I know you're going to defend your movie, but I also trust you. You're James Wan, so it's like a weird in between. I feel like,
yeah,
I want to trust him. I just don't know if I can, but I do.
Yeah, I mean, I trust what he says about how the time it took. Like, I trust that part of it.
Yeah, I don't think he's lying about that.
Right, but they start asking him about the things that came out of Amber Heard's therapy notes, and he doesn't really talk about it. He kind of just says, I'm not on social media. I'm a private person. I really don't get involved in all of that.
He's only on Instagram. He left Twitter before the movie.
Right.
Once you guys started harassing him on Twitter for Aquaman, he left pretty quick, to be honest with you.
Right.
That's literally what happened.
Yeah, that's true. So it was good to hear him actually speak about it, though. I think it was good to hear the director of the film kind of talk about some of these things, even though he didn't clarify anything, except for the time it took, and then clarified what the movie's actually going to be like. It's supposed to be buddy comedy, like Tango and Cash, and we've talked about this already. We've seen that in the trailers.
Seen the trailer. Yeah,
right. So we've understood that, but
I already bought action figures.
Oh, you have?
Oh, dude, I've already bought action figures. Yeah,
that's awesome. Pete, you're the guy that they love. You are the guy that these studios love, and
well, like, I like Aquaman. I can't help it. The first movie I enjoyed, and it's cool stuff. Like, I bought a seahorse.
Oh, that's awesome.
I bought a seahorse for my Aquaman.
Did you post the picture of it? I haven't seen
it. It hasn't come. I pre-ordered it.
Oh, okay.
I don't have it. Yeah, but I bought.
So they did change the date for Aquaman, even though it's just 2 days. It was supposed to open on the 20th, which was Wednesday. Now they pushed it to a Friday. Why? Doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand. But that's what they did. Which you mean either way, it was coming out Tuesday or Thursday, because I don't know why they keep those dates when they have all the preview days. The days
if you're gonna do it during a weekday, I'm taking the day off, so just decide on it already.
Right.
I want a month's notice.
Yeah. So, and they moved Robert De Niro's Wise Guy movie, which is now titled Alto Nights, have moved from February 2nd next year to November. So they pushed that back. So if who's ever looking forward to that, that's going to be not until November now. I didn't even know about it, to be honest. So
until after the strike's over, because I feel like we're not going to have delays for a long time.
Yeah, if they want to rebuild the public faith, yeah, I think they're going to have to stick to these
COVID
dates.
and the strikes. I was like, man,
right, back to back.
Bad timing.
Yeah, back to
back. Bad timing for COVID, not for the strike. I guess for the strike too, but.
Well, no, it was bad timing for them to strike, because of the when we came out of COVID, we thought we were rebuilding, and now they had to stop things again because of it. And I understand why they were striking. I mean, get what you need to get. I understand it completely. But it wasn't good for the industry as a whole. So
It wasn't good for the Penguin. Say how much.
no, no, it wasn't. Although that's something that apparently is safe with regards to uh the genre it's in, right? We feel like there's kind of this stigma in superhero media now, and everything going on, superhero movies and TV shows, that it's kind of oversaturated, and people don't really want to watch them anymore. But
I think this is going to be different because it's not spandex.
yes,
You know
I
what I'm
agree with
saying?
you. Right, it's the noir style that they're doing the Batman and the Batman universe in is very different than anything else.
Especially for that, like this is, I think if you like stuff like Sopranos, Boardwalk Empire, you're going to get into this. I think
I
that's what's
think
gonna be
that
more
one is probably better than The Sopranos. Boardwalk Empire is probably a better comparison.
representation. I just meant
Yeah,
crime element, like later seasons of The Sopranos when he's not talking to Melfi, you know,
right,
like we're talking like probably like season 4 or 5.
right. So
But
yeah, Casey Blois, I think that's how you say his last name. If it's not, I apologize. But he recently talked about this whole thing with superheroes, and he says he doesn't know if he doesn't necessarily believe it's or at least with tentpole films, that's tentpole fatigue as much as it is the sameness of the storytelling, which is something that a lot of people have said. Like, yes, they're different characters, but the story is always the same. Good versus evil. Good usually wins in the end, and there you go. And there's only so many ways you could tell that.
that's
So,
why we have BVS.
not again. Can we get through something without talking about BVS? Oh
I
God.
I enjoyed talking about BVS.
Uh, but yeah, like I said, the Matt Reeves style and the style they're doing this in is so much different than anything else out there right now. So I agree with you. I think it's going to be safe. I think the Penguin's safe. Obviously, Peacemaker, right, is there. That's a different kind of
I
style of
want to see what
storytelling.
happens with Peacemaker now, though, because that's a show that literally leans into the comic book stuff way more than, like, let's say, the Penguin ever would.
Right.
You know, I mean, the whole the big bad villain of Peacemaker were, mosquitoes that flew into your brain and took over your body. I think that's a little bit more out there, than like I don't know. I imagine the Penguin dealing with like cocaine and hookers. I
But you're
think,
right.
oh, it's pretty cool.
But what you said is the key part there. Like, Peacemaker is out there, right?
Oh, it's
Like,
way out there, yeah.
yeah. So it's different. Again, it's a different style.
Mhm.
Kind of like Doom Patrol in a way, right? Like, you had the butts, right? In Doom Patrol, you had
Oh my
that
god,
one,
yeah, yeah.
right? You have these different kinds of stories that kind of are there in this universe that might attract people because they're not the same thing that's watered down and given to us
Mhm.
all the time. So, um, Casey just Blois just wanted to talk about it. I think it's refreshing. Uh, I can't wait to see the Penguin. To be honest, we've talked about it many times.
I just want more Colin Farrell.
So yeah, I just I just loved his portrayal. Yeah, it was fantastic. So the fact that we're getting it, he's getting his own show from the beginning, I thought was great, and it's going to be a really good way to just expand upon a character that, let's be honest, I think of the core four, he's probably the least liked.
You watch your
Um,
mouth. Know what you're talking. Jesus,
uh,
like it just stabbed me in the heart, Eric.
so I'm sorry. I just mean generally. Of course, you have your people. I just think from my experience and just talking to people and through my life,
Is the
you hear
Riddler
a
that
lot.
much more popular than the Penguin?
I think because the Riddler is quirky, and he has like the riddles are something that people like hearing, and it gives you something to think about. I think that's why
Oh yeah, I mean,
Penguin's
the big four. They're the Joker, Catwoman, Penguin, Riddler. They're big. They're the big four.
right, right. I just think like most people love Joker and Catwoman. Those are I would say
To be
they're the
honest with
two.
you, I actually think probably more people would probably put Two Face over Penguin now.
Really?
Currently, yeah, these days, post
Okay.
Nolan, I think so.
Yeah, that's probably fair. You're right. That's probably a fair take.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, We got some bad news. Actually, it was just a couple days ago. Superman and Lois will have its final season.
We all knew this was happening. I don't know why
Season
everyone's so
4.
upset.
Because you never, until something's
Cut the amount
final.
of episodes. They cut the cast. The network was sold. they want to do reality TV. Like we knew this was coming. We knew it was going to end after the season.
I know.
We didn't know if it was going to get this season. The fact that they got this season, it was 10 episodes, is a miracle.
Right. It's still, but the finality of things. That's always what it is. Like you're always kind of like, oh, well, maybe he said some things will stick. Maybe this will stick. This will be something that to continue.
I'm telling you, that what you knew. You knew. I told you this whole Black Label thing was just. This was successful before I got here, and they're not going to get rid of it. That's what that was.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what he's doing? He's doing the same thing Feige's doing. It's all connected.
Well, no, I mean that part we know. Yes, that part we know.
Yeah, so everything that's not connected is out. If it's not if the Batman 2 doesn't make money, it's out. That's it.
That would be crazy.
It would be, but I'm just saying that's the truth. That's how they're going about business, and that's just it. Like you guys got to stop. Some people got to stop living in Fantasyland.
It's gonna make money though. That movie's gonna make money.
I'm just saying though, like that's the truth.
Yeah,
his stuff is staying. If it's not his, it's out. It doesn't make money. It's out. We know this.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah. Yep. He definitely did a. I'd play an ape on the ground for Matt Reeves. he definitely did one of those, right?
Yeah,
when he was selling us the.
And that's fine. I got no problem with that. But I know.
No, I don't either. I don't either. I have no problem with
people
him
on Twitter acting like idiots, acting like they don't know what's going on when they really got to be paying attention.
Right. I don't have an issue with him wanting to do everything his way, and I totally 100%.
And let's be honest, how much longer is that show going to go on for? It's been 4 seasons.
Well, I thought it could have made 5, but this is the time when with most of the
Arrow
shows
and Flash got to 8, y'all were complaining like crazy about everything. So like, God forbid it gets to that because I don't want to deal with it.
No, that's what I mean. Like this is the time where I would start to tune out. Season 4, season 5, around those seasons is where I was kind of like, I think every show has its apex, and then everything after that is just we need to keep these guys paid, or everyone needs jobs, so we're just gonna keep doing the show. And I think this is an example of actually. You're right. It's a good time. They're ending with the season. Ending it with Lex. He's the big villain now, and I think that's probably the best way to go because they can end it where it's still there, but the show's just over, right? Like there's still a story to be told,
which is what they did with Flash,
right? Exactly.
It's fine. I got no problem with it. I got 4 years out of it. I enjoyed. I got 4+ years out of that Superman.
Right.
4+ seasons.
And I said this when it happened. I tweeted. I said this show kind of recentered the character off of everything that happened with the DCEU and the Cavill character.
It was kind of a cleansing of the palette because Cavill didn't really become Superman until like what? Justice League 17.
Until like he didn't become the Superman we all love until that.
Man of Steel's the origin. He doesn't really know what he's doing. He's figuring out BVS. He's got 34 lines
and dead.
Yeah,
don't forget dead.
He's dead. The dirt moved off the coffin.
I think dead is the more important thing, but yeah.
Thanks, I forgot that he died. Yeah.
So, but they released a statement. So I'll read it. Over the last 3 seasons, Superman and Lois redefined both the superhero genre and the family drama as Tyler, Elizabeth, and the entire cast effortlessly portrayed these classic characters with new layers of depth and complexity that had never before been explored in the Superman universe. We are grateful for the years of hard work and graceful storytelling from the show's writers, producers, actors, and crew, as well as our terrific partners at Warner Brothers Television, and Berlanti Productions. As Superman embarks on his final flight, the team is leaving us with an absolutely epic 10-episode must-watch every minute farewell to one of the most legendary CW families ever.
I think that's fair.
So, I do too.
All I ask is, I don't care how you do it, please go as crazy as you want, but if we can get Melissa Benoist to just cameo for an episode or a scene, that would be wonderful. Just if we can get them, I don't know, punching Lex in a suit together, that'd be great. I don't care, or whatever, because last season ended with Doomsday. Maybe she returns to give him a hand. I don't know, but
Right.
that I just think that would be nice. I wouldn't. And if you want to bring back Buff Jimmy, that's fine. I can deal with that. I would really like to see a Superman Supergirl thing. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I'll go to Twitter and I'll yell at you.
Well, they could always bring the multiverse angle back.
That's what I'm saying. Multiverse, whatever. Or I don't know, Supergirl's been away in space with the Legion of Superheroes, and she returns to finally, I don't care. So it honestly could be something that cheesy at the end where they're just Helen Slater, The Flash, Christopher Reeves just standing next to each other. I just want the shot in live action, actual live action, not CGI. And I don't hate The Flash either, by the way.
No.
I'm just saying because it's been a touchy subject. Nick Cage likes talking about The Flash all of a sudden. He hates the movie. He hates his cameo, but he can't stop talking about it every chance he gets. Thank God he's in that movie, right? Because he needs more PR.
He actually has a new movie coming out. When's getting a lot of buzz for his performance.
Good. So he got a lot of buzz. What was his last movie where he played himself? And
yeah,
you all know I hate Nick Cage. I think he's the worst actor I've ever seen.
The
I give him credit for not using his real last
incredible weight of massive talent, right?
That's it. He was like Pedro Pascal's a coke dealer, and he abducted.
It was good. It was a good movie.
You liked it. A lot of people liked it on Twitter, and I was like, okay,
it was good. I enjoyed it.
I'm not I don't like Face Off. No, I can't stand Face Off.
That's an odd take.
I don't like it. I just don't like Nick Cage, man. It's funny
because
I love Travolta. Oddly enough, I think Travolta's great. I'll watch a bad Travolta movie. What was that? Was that space movie he did where he wore all that makeup? I'll watch that thing.
Battleship Earth?
Oh, I don't know. Battlefield Earth, right?
Battlefield Earth? Something
like that. Yeah, he's wearing a bunch of makeup. It's a really bad movie, but I'll watch that. But I can't. I literally can't watch anything with Nick Cage. The only movie of Nick Cage's that I like is The First National Treasure and The Family Man. Oddly enough.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of The Family Man, but that's it. Outside of that, I think he sucks. I'm just not a fan.
He's had some really good movies.
Con Air. I think
really good films.
Con Air, I don't like. There's a lot of 90s action movies that I just don't enjoy.
Well, no, there was a period there where it was kind of like a thing, like they were a thing, and he was one of the guys who was in all of them.
I mean, good for him because that's how you stay rich in Hollywood. His career's. I give him so much credit for working and doing what he's done. I'm just not a fan.
I mean, Leaving Las Vegas is probably his best performance. It was a fantastic movie. Him and Elizabeth Shue, and he's an alcoholic. It's a really, really good movie.
Is that a friend of Rick Shue's?
But
is that his sister? Is that Rick's sister?
No, I'm sure Rick wishes she was a friend of his, but no.
I thought they were related. Rick Shue, Elizabeth Shue.
She was the Allie in Karate Kid. You know who she is, right?
Karate Kid's not a movie that's in my rotation. Yeah, it's one of those 80 movies I didn't get into.
Oh.
Karate Kid. There's some 80s things that you think I would have loved as a kid that I didn't get into. Karate Kid's one of them, which is why I don't get into Cobra Kai. I know you like that.
Have you seen it?
Karate Kid? I watched it once. It just wasn't my jam.
Okay.
For me, wax on, wax off, I learned from Ninja Turtles. Because they're in April's Lauer will be like, oh yeah, he gets me. This is why we're friends. when they're in April's apartment and they're like wax on, wax off. That's where I learned it from, and then I retroactively learned they were mimicking Karate Kid.
Lauer didn't know that either.
No, Lauer would appreciate my Turtles love.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying. So Karate. I caught Transformers by luck, just by the end. That's something I did love, but Masters of the Universe, not a thing.
Okay.
He-Man is not I could care less.
Yeah, that makes more sense though. He-Man was kind of on the way out long before you would have been interested, so that makes sense.
It's 84-ish, right? It's when it first dropped. I was born in 86. You think those toys would kind of carry over a little bit, but not really for me.
Yeah, it would have been towards the end, but yeah.
For me, it was Transformers, G.I. Joe, Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, Batman.
Well, Transformers kept reinventing itself and having all these things on Cartoon Network and Disney Channel and wherever the hell. They kept reinventing
the G1 cartoon was on a lot when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then when I was able to, and then we recently talked about Beast Wars and like how I
Right.
love that, and that came out at the right time, which rehooked me and made me fall in love with Transformers again. So yeah, but that's it. Those are like my big 5 things growing up.
All right.
I love GI Joe, man. GI Joe was my jam.
Yeah, I'll say Ninja Turtles is kind of when I started. Like, I watched the show and I liked the cartoon,
Mm-hmm.
but that was kind of when I was kind of phasing out of that era of my
That's when you
life.
started
So
becoming a jock.
yeah, sports started becoming more important to me at that point. Yeah, that's
And
probably
then,
it.
and then they were like, "Oh my God, look at Eric! He's so buff. He plays football.
Well, no, I wasn't
Oh, jeez."
not
And then
that
they're like, "Oh
age.
yeah, Sally, Sally, you go talk to Eric. You think I go talk to Eric? You think I would talk to me? Go talk to Eric, Sally." And then that's it. Then Eric and Sally Testerberger.
Oh yes, Sally.
The good old days. Young love on Long Island.
All right, let's get the train back on the track. Let's go
Summers and
forward.
Montauk.
We have more news to discuss. Daredevil, who we thought was going to go in one direction after what we saw in She-Hulk, apparently that's not the case anymore. They have decided after seeing footage that they want to kind of go back to what the show was on Netflix. That's kind of the read, and we talked about this on another show, but that's kind of the read. So in that vein, they've hired a showrunner and some new writers and directors, and the showrunner is Dario Scardapane, who did Jack Ryan's show on Netflix and The Punisher. He's the showrunner for the series, and then Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, they're going to be writing the new series for Disney Plus, the new Daredevil series. So we know the story was in mid-production. They looked at it, and they were like, "Yeah, this is not what we want." So then Chris Ord and Matt Corman, who were head writers, they said departed, but they really were fired. Let's be honest.
This all happened before the Variety article, by the way.
Yeah. Yes, that's
So
true.
this is kind of like the snowball effect.
Yeah.
This all sounds great, but I want to see something.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, and I think I might have gotten that something in the Echo trailer because they're related. They're very. You can't tell me these things are not related because one, Daredevil's in the trailer, and two, it's narrated basically by Kingpin.
Yes, and we see the Kingpin that we saw in Daredevil.
And Daredevil, he literally, it's the entire trailer is him beating the shit out of a dude.
Right.
Like an ice cream man.
Right.
So Echo looks phenomenal, by the way. And it might be the tone that we're going to see for Daredevil. Like I got a feeling that's kind of what they're recapturing. That's what they want to recapture. And if it wasn't for that trailer that dropped in Echo, I wouldn't have as much faith as I do now.
Yeah, definitely. If that's the tone that they're going for, then yes, I think
because that is the most Netflix thing I've ever seen on Disney.
Yes,
which honestly gives me hope for things like Deadpool. I know they're separate. I know one's a movie and one's a show, but like if they're doing this on Disney Plus with Echo, which is a character that's, let's be honest, not a household name,
right?
Deadpool's got like maybe they're actually giving Ryan Reynolds free reign here. The Echo trailer put a lot of like gears in motion for me. I'm just saying.
Right, we're going to talk about that in a little bit because we have some Deadpool stuff to get to. So we'll talk about that in a little while. But
it's all connected.
It definitely does seem that they've listened to, or that Feige, because let's be honest, none of this is done without his approval. So that Feige is listening now and not just directing from on high. He's really listening to to what people want.
The people.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty obvious with these changes that we're hearing, and which the article which Tatiana Siegel's article again kind of confirmed. So the episodes of that Corman and Ord already shot, some of them they said will stay. So we're going to have some of that, whatever they were doing before, but the rest of them are going to be...
I believe this is Power Rangers. They're taking the action scenes, they're putting the story around it.
Yeah, probably.
That's what they're doing.
So, but yeah, I'm happy for this because although I was interested in what they were thinking of doing, I really liked the Netflix Daredevil show. So
I love Netflix Daredevil. The Daredevil we saw in She-Hulk fit the Daredevil that
for
needed to
that,
be in She-Hulk. Did I think that was going to be the interpretation of the character going forward? No, I did not think it was going to be that light. I thought he
right,
was going to be yellow, but I didn't think it was going to be that light, you know?
right,
So
yeah,
it didn't bother me because it's like I've seen this is more of a Marvel thing than a DC thing. Like characters sometimes act differently in different books than they do in their own. And that's just as a reader, that's how I interpreted what
yeah.
they did with Daredevil. But um, I'm not really upset. I'm glad that Feige realized that this Daredevil wasn't going to work, and yeah, we'll see what happens. It seems that they've been doing a lot. They have a lot of things going on right now, and to be honest, it feels like Daredevil probably has the most eyes on it at the moment. Between
Well,
Daredevil and
there,
between I feel like they're really focused on that. Like I feel like Blade honestly is something that's just like we'll get to Blade when we have to get to Blade. Right now we have to worry about Daredevil. I you know.
right, yeah. I mean, you talked about, you just mentioned Deadpool as well, and that was another property where you kept saying, "Well, I wonder what they're gonna do. I wonder how they're gonna now that Disney owns it, how they're gonna approach it, and what they're gonna keep, and how uh, R rated, I guess it's gonna be."
Yeah,
But so Sean Levy recently spoke about it in a couple of ways, but he basically said that the movie is heavy on violence. Uh, Now, again, we have to see it. We're not really sure, but he says that the movie is set to be raw and audacious, featuring an R-rated bloodbath. That's a direct quote, people. So, so
what is this, a horror film?
I don't know what that means, but he goes in depth and talks about the relationship between Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, and then how that seeps into the story of of Deadpool 3.
I don't know if I should say this, but I'll say this: we've posted the article. You can read the article. It felt like to me that he spoiled the movie. Like
Really?
well, I thought he gave away the ending in the movie.
I didn't
And
get
I
that.
don't want to say it because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. Like I'm reading this, like,
Oh, yes, I know what you're saying.
and I'm like,
Yes,
okay, well
yes,
that sucks. Why'd you say that? Now?
I know.
So, if you want to find out, read the article. If not, but like, I that's what I took it as. I'm not going to say it, but I was like, really? Okay, this is interesting.
Yes. So here's a couple of the things he said specifically in it. I won't go too far, but about the production and how when they're going to face off against each other. He says, "You is such a fan of Ryan's, and Ryan knows the opportunity that it is to have Wolverine co-star in a Deadpool movie. Both actors are constantly setting each other up for success. I can say this because Ryan was also my co-writer and producer throughout this film. Ryan is truly dedicated to seeing Deadpool on the losing side." So that's kind of the hint I think Pete is referring to.
Yeah,
Uh, Even though he already did that in that terrible Origins movie. They killed him. So I don't know. Maybe that's a joke. Maybe there's a joke there, though, right? Like maybe this is kind of what he's kind of dropping a hint, but not really. I don't know. That could just be me reading into it a little bit deeper than it's actually there. He goes on to say, the truth is that Deadpool's awesome, but he's deeply flawed and Wolverine is Wolverine. And so I'll just say that it's a 360-degree creative force. Ryan operates from a place of what's going to be most satisfying to the story, not from a place of, well, I got to get an equal number of victories and punches into the other character. For us as audience members, because I count myself, I'm an audience member before I'm a director, to get these two movie stars in their most iconic roles together is a dream come true. And I think we all agree with that. I think that's something that we all are happy is happening, that Ryan Reynolds Deadpool, which I think, again, I've said many times, is probably the most perfectly cast superhero or
yeah,
anti-hero, what do you want to call him? And
it's
then
up there.
Wolverine is Hugh Jackman as Wolverine is, although at the time wasn't seen as perfect, turned out to be perfect.
Jared
So
Leto is the Joker.
well, as much as you and I like him or like the performance, that I wouldn't say the rest of the world feels the same.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, in case you've ever been around for the past, what, 6 years, 5 years?
And it just feels a lot longer than that.
Yeah.
Reno's like, stupid American. No. Joaquin Phoenix. Yes, Joaquin Phoenix.
The Russian French Reno that you do?
That's how they talk in Montreal. It's French Canada.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Viva
So, we mentioned Fantastic Four before, and we have a little bit of news there as well. So, director Matt Shackman recently spoke about if everything going on, the quote unquote recent troubles at Marvel Studios has impacted the Fantastic Four production, and he said it hasn't. I mean, we've been on our process consistently. I've been on the project for a little over a year and working away hard at it the way we work on any film at Marvel, and certainly the way we worked on WandaVision, which is starting with, what is the story we want to tell? What is the theme of the story? Why are we telling the story? And just developing the best possible version of that story. And how do we want to bring these characters to life? So, in terms of outside influence or conversations, it hasn't really been a factor. It's always high stakes, and you always have to get it right.
In other words, they told me to wait until Daredevil's done before I do anything crazy. just do what you can until we're ready for it. We're busy with Daredevil.
Yeah.
That's what I took that as.
They have added a writer to the story or to the production of the show. So, Josh Friedman.
It's a show. That was a movie.
Oh, sorry, movie. My fault. Josh Friedman will be one of the writers working on it, and he, I believe, Star Trek 4, and he worked on WandaVision and Agent Elvis and all that. So
Agent Elvis was a cartoon, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
So he has worked on all of that. And Cameron Squires as well has been added.
There you go.
So
new writers. Let me know when you shoot something.
Yeah, well, a cast, right? Too, like,
yeah.
That's been the big buzz. Like, what's the cast going on? Who's the cast for this thing? So, well, I want to end the show. Our last topic being, this wasn't in the rundown, but I wanted to just mention it. Last week we lost Matthew Perry, who famously was Chandler Bing on Friends, his most iconic role. And I wanted to bring it up on the show. And Pete, I didn't tell you this, so I apologize. But because that show for me was always kind of it was a show that I was very unrealistic, because anyone who lives in New York knew that those people could not live in a place like that with all of their with the jobs that they had. I never thought that it was a realistic portrayal. But that being said, I think it was something that a lot of us who live in this area always wished we could have, something like they had. All a bunch of friends living in Manhattan at that certain time of your life where you're just starting out and figuring out what you want to do with your life, and having just this great group of people around you that you love and a family of its own. And Chandler, to me, was the character on the show that I thought was the funniest and the most real of all of the characters. And he was such a good actor. Like Matthew Perry's comedic timing, and the way he delivered lines, his delivery was just, anyone who's ever wanted to act or has acted and watched him, he's the reason I wanted to watch that show. Obviously, outside of Jennifer Aniston and other things on the show, but he was the reason that I wanted to that I watched Friends, because I wasn't a huge fan of it, but he got me to watch that show every week. So he was 54 years old. He had obviously troubled with alcohol and drugs, and he's talked about it openly. And just for him to succumb to that, because we haven't really gotten anything official, but that's probably what it was. It sucks. Another talented person gone way too soon. And since we do the show that covers pop culture, I wanted to bring that up, because there was no bigger show at that time than Friends. So, Pete, I don't know if you have anything to add, or
I wasn't really a diehard Friends fan. I would probably watch Batwoman season 3 over Friends any day of the week. It's just me. But yeah, sure. I mean, I actually knew Matthew Perry more from the Whole Nine Yards than I did Friends.
Right.
I just didn't watch the show. I think I was just slightly too young for it, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But like I know of it. It's okay. It's good. Like I get what you're saying about the cat, living in New York and blah blah. But it is very funny. I thought it was funny. I mean, I've seen the pivot video all the time.
Mhm.
Stuff like that. But yeah, no, it's sad that he passed, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the whole 9 yards, because it was a good movie and he was very good in it.
Which takes
So
place in French Canada,
yeah.
by the way.
Yeah. So I just wanted to put that out there, again, a personal thing for me. Because again, that show, like I said, that show was something that everyone watched every week. People in my age group watched it every week, and I didn't watch it every week. But when I did, it was because I wanted to see what Chandler said or did or whatever. I related to him more than the rest of the cast. So rest in peace, Matthew Perry. Man, gone too soon. Just gone way too soon. All right. Sorry to end the show on a sad note, but
Well, we don't know. I actually came up with a song for you. I came up
geez.
I made up a song for you last night as I was sitting around watching TV, and
Did you? No, you didn't.
yeah, I did. I was watching the old animated Spider-Man because I'm doing an Italians for Spidey episode, so I was
Oh,
watching that,
Jesus.
and the theme song it was like, let me just get into it. So it goes sorry, was it Holzman does whatever a Holsey can. It goes doodle doo doodle doo doodle doo doodle doo. Holzman does whatever a Holsey can. Doodle doodle doo, and that's it. So that I made up a song for Eric, and Holzman can do whatever a Holsey can, and
Thank you.
that's just what I do. I just sit around thinking of ways to honor the champion of Long Island.
You need to get out more. You really need to get out more.
I live through you.
Oh,
Live vicariously through your eyes. So I've seen everything. I've done everything, and the world needs to know about it. So Eric Holzman, you are the champion of Long Island.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that riveting tribute song. Thank you very much.
Maybe one day Eric will sing "Kiss from a Rose" on the show like we always wanted, but we're just, he's a little bashful. I know we're not a big audience. He's used to performing in front of 50,000 people all across the country, so
Sure.
okay. Yeah. Well, like, what would you know how like Taylor Swift is Tay Tay? What would your nickname be, like? A Ray?
Shut up.
I'm asking you, what would they call you?
Let's just go. Let's just forget this. So
you can follow me on social media. That's Twitter, Instagram, and all that other jazz at Pete Illustrated. You can follow this show, Straight to Gotham, at @straight_O_G on Twitter and Instagram. We have a Facebook group and a Facebook fan page. Follow me at Italians for Spidey. That's my Italian for Spidey Collision podcast. And then hit me up. I'm on BatmanOnFilm.com, Batman on Film YouTube. I'm all over there. So it's all those places.
Thank you, Pete. And you guys can find me on Twitter at Finally33, spell Finale33. I am also on Blue Sky now. So
what
you
is
can
that?
find me there as well. It's like the new Twitter that you need to get invited to. And
who's going to invite me?
You need to have. They need to give you like these passes or these keys. You can give them to other people. So eventually, if you want, when I get my first couple, I'll send you one. You can join.
Okay, this sounds like a secret club.
It kind of is in a way. They're very restricted to who they let in. I didn't know that, but now I do.
It sounds like, remember that? What was it that Paul Walker movie? Was it The Skulls?
Yes, with Joshua Jackson. Yes, I remember that.
That's what this sounds like.
Yes. So you could definitely check me out over there on Blue Sky. It's my same name, Finally33 over there. Instagram as well, over there
for the food pics.
Yes, basically that's what I post there, food pictures. So I also do a show called All Nicked Up every Wednesday night about the New York Knicks. It's a live stream. Starts at usually 8:30 Eastern time on Wednesday nights, but now that the season is in swing, we go on immediately after the games end.
The in-season tournament, Eric.
Oh God, don't get please. I don't even
We're
couldn't care
playing
less.
for the NBA Cup, Eric. Check out the court. Look at
I
our
could
new jerseys. Like, oh God.
I couldn't care less. I could not care less about this tournament. The only reason I watched the game is because it still counts in the standings. If it didn't count in the standings, I would not even care at all
Someone
about the
said on
games.
Twitter, explain to me the NBA in-season tournament in baseball terms. So I responded to them and I said, imagine if Manfred took away the All-Star game and gave you a half-season championship. That was my response. I thought it was pretty clever.
I mean, I don't know. It's a whole other topic I could talk about. I have no idea why they're doing it. I
I'll
don't
tell
see
you
how
why
it's
they're doing it. I know exactly why they're doing it. Player management, nights off. They don't want guys taking nights off on TNT games. That's it. It's not going to work, but that's the reason they think having
oh
a
wow.
mid-season championship will entice the players not to want to take days off in the beginning of the season. It's a workload thing. The NBA has been trying to battle workload management within the league for years, and they think this is the best way to do it.
Are
That's
they
my
getting
opinion.
extra money for this? I think they
They,
do.
I think the team gets like $500,000 to split. So the
Whatever.
team
Like
gets
these
half a
guys
mil.
need that.
That's
I
what
can
I'm
see the end of the
saying.
bench. Right? Yeah, yeah. I can see the end of the bench guys maybe being like, "Oh, cool, we get a little extra," but they're not even playing. So, so
Like, is this like a tournament for like the small market teams? Do you want the Indianas and the Charlottes and like I don't know those types of teams to like play for a title? While because like, do you think LeBron cares about your 500,000? He's not getting $500,000. He's getting like what? I don't know. Divide that whatever. I don't know how you divide
it's by
that.
15 guys, and that's if they get the players get all of it.
That's just the players, right? Doesn't management get a part
Right.
of this? I don't know. It's
That's what I'm saying.
so like his sneaker deal is worth more than what he's going to get for this.
I know. I don't know. Again, it does
Yeah.
kind of drum up interest, and maybe people younger than us like it. That's possible. Maybe
I think it drums up interest in the beginning because people don't know what it is. But I think when they find out that it means nothing, people are going to turn on it. In my opinion.
So,
But
yeah,
for me, it's a workload management situation. That's what they're fighting against the players, and that's what they think can help.
I don't know how they came to that conclusion, but whatever.
It's very Manfred. It's very Manfred.
If you guys want to hear us talk about, because we do talk about this stuff on All Nicked Up, so you could definitely check it out again every Wednesday
I'm
night.
not there, so I'm talking about it now. This is my venting period.
It's every Wednesday night, 8:30 Eastern time. Me, my buddy Ty, my buddy Joe, we get on, talk about all things New York Knicks, and
how about those Bucks?
Chop it up. Yeah, they lost last night.
I heard what's his
Brunson
name
had a fantastic performance. Julius Randle still sucks, and that's just where we're at right now. So
Miles Turner looked good last night.
What are you gonna do?
I said Miles Turner looked good last night. I think he put up a double-double, had a good stat line.
I've always liked him. I've always been a fan.
Yeah, the front office doesn't seem to like him, but I've always enjoyed
I know.
him.
I feel like he's always mentioned in trade
fan.
rumors.
He's actually a huge Batman Lego fan, as was Matthew Perry, by the way.
Yeah, he was.
I think during COVID, he did like some sort of like Batman, Matthew Perry, that is, did like some, he's like, this is my Batman memorabilia. He's like my Batman baseball hat. I always walk outside with it. I was like, oh wow, like he's very minimalist. Like, you know, like you think a guy with that much money be like, this is my $1 million comic book. Like, oh my God. It's like, no, but he's like, he has like Batman like sandals that he loved. So I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, see, so Pete, you did have more to contribute.
Matthew Perry?
About Matthew Perry, yeah.
Yeah, like just nothing about Friends.
Just to jog your memory. Just to jog your memory. Just to get it going.
Holzman does whatever a Holsey can. Like, you're dancing. Eric's dancing. He likes it. You like that. Radioactive Holzman, radioactive Holzman. It fits.
No joke. If we did some work on your voice and we put that to a beat, that could be a hit, and no one would.
I mean, you can auto tune it. I'm pretty sure that's what Drake does.
So
I'm pretty sure his entire career is auto tuned.
No.
Him, Flock of Flames, like all those guys, all that whole new generation. None, those aren't the
Flock
guys now. But like, yeah, all those guys are auto tuned.
I don't know. That's a whole other topic, though. That we could talk about the state of hip hop if you wanted to, and that's a topic we could talk about.
So, I want to talk about you singing "Kiss from a Rose" at Soldier Field.
That's not going to happen, and it didn't happen. I did not sing that song. I wish I did. Maybe things might have turned out differently. All right, I'm gonna shut down the show now. Whether Pete joins me or not is fine. But for Pete Vera, I'm Eric Holzman. You're listening Straight Outta Gotham, and we'll see you next time.
Booyah.